I'm honored to be here with you all today. My husband and I have 2 kids. Our daughter Anamika is 3.5, and our son Anand is 9 months. A couple of weeks ago, we found ourselves in the midst of a familiar scene at our house, the bedtime meltdown. After a couple hours of tears, Anamika explained to me that she hadn't eaten her lunch that day and she was feeling very tired. I told her that eating lunch was about taking care of your body and making sure that you had energy, and that it was also about appreciating the food that we have. She was silent for a minute and then said, "Mama, did you know that there are people who live on the street and who do not have a home or any food or any money, and they are waiting for us to help them?" What might we do to help them?" I said. "We can all share our homes and our food with them. I want to share our home and our food with them." I started to take in what Anamika said, and I was reminded of something. Research shows that as adults, when we walk past homeless people, the part of the brain that recognizes objects lights up, not the part of the brain that recognizes human beings. As I sat there in the dark with my 3-year-old, I was deeply struck by the humanity and the simplicity in her response. Her natural impulse, one that all kids are born with, was to share and to help. And it made me think, what stands in the way of our ability to effectively take care of those in need in our community? In this country, 7 in 10 people born into poverty will remain in poverty their entire lives. That's true here in the Bay Area, one of the wealthiest regions on the planet. Despite living in the hotbed of big ideas, the nonprofit sector is excluded from the opportunity to dream. We expect nonprofits to tackle and solve massive social problems, but we do not offer them the autonomy, the talent, and the capital to make it happen. Let me show you what I mean. Nonprofits are rewarded and funded based on their ability to deliver proven solutions. Just look at the language that we use to describe our operating model. In the for-profit world, we say infrastructure. It sounds essential, as it should. This is something we heard a lot about earlier this morning. In the nonprofit sector, it's often referred to as overhead or administrative expenses. And anything over 20% in this category is highly scrutinized. It's also normal for companies to devote a sizable portion of their resources to R&D. In 2013, Google spent $8 billion on research and development. In the nonprofit space, we spend virtually zero. When it comes to investing in social services, it makes sense to fund what works, what's known. That's a big part of how Tipping Point, a local poverty-fighting organization where I work, approaches its philanthropic investments. But we also know that this alone is not enough. There are so many people we have yet to reach, and so many things that we still don't know. Teach for America is a highly impactful organization that Tipping Point supports. They recruit thousands of talented people to teach in underserved schools across the country. In today's digital world, one of TFA's key challenges is sharing best practices across their network. So my husband and I started dating back in 1996, before texting was even a thing. Fast forward 20 years, and any one of you can pick up your phone right now and open an app that will tell you who here is single and which friends you have in common. With one swipe, you can initiate a conversation. But in the current philanthropic environment, it's rare that an organization like Teach for America get the risk capital needed to seamlessly connect a 4th grade math teacher in North Carolina to a 4th grade math teacher in San Francisco. With my eye on bringing R&D to the nonprofit sector, I pitched Tipping Point on my idea for T-Lab. It's a 6-month program where we hire a group of diverse professionals to work on the issues of childcare, early childhood education, and incarceration. These are areas that are core to building a path out of poverty, but where we have a lot more learning to do. During T-Lab's first year, our early childhood education team came up with the idea of converting a bus into a preschool classroom. Why? Because right here in the Bay Area, there are 80,000 low-income children that are waiting to go to preschool. 80,000. In the process of digging into this problem, our team spent several months interviewing families across the community. Their insights formed the basis for our prototyping. The team started out with a rough model made out of cardboard. Then they rented a real bus and collaborated with Tipping Point grantee Aspire Public Schools to simulate the preschool experience for 4 days. Here's a peek at what happened.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back.
Aspire has long dreamed about offering preschool to their Bay Area families, but they had never considered it in this form. And even if they had, they would have gone straight to writing a business plan without having the opportunity to test it first. This past fall, 14 children attended a semester of preschool on a bus at an Aspire campus in Oakland. We are now exploring the possibility of making preschool a permanent program across Aspire's network. The concept of a mobile preschool is not that revolutionary, but the R&D approach gives us the permission to spend time immersed in research and to test a concept and to learn more tangibly about its risks and benefits, and to then refine it until we arrive at something that suits the needs of a specific community. This is uncharted territory for us. It's forcing us to write a new set of rules. First, it's not enough to throw some risk capital into the mix and hope for game-changing solutions to emerge. Whether it's reimagining what happens to a young adult after they are released from jail, or how a single working mother secures childcare, we will need to grant ourselves the permission to try and to fail. Second, this work is resource-intensive with no guarantee of outcomes. It can take months to years to yield tangible results. We had to shift our own mindset from that of investing in known outcomes to investing to learn. In the pharmaceutical world, it takes about 12 years for a drug to travel from the lab to the market, and still only 10% ever do. It takes a long time, but the results can save lives. Last year, Tipping Point began making R&D investments in a handful of grantees, and this work hasn't been easy. The fear of failure is real, and it's been scary for all of us. As one grantee leader said to me, "We're responsible for people, Renuka, not products." While testing, one of Facebook's mottos used to be, "Move fast, break things." Today, it's evolved to move fast, build things. We must take into account the impact that trying new things will have. While testing the preschool concept, we met a little boy whose parents were worried about him. He hadn't said a single word yet, and the doctors feared he had developmental delays. But within just 2 days in preschool, the teachers had him mimicking their speech. He said his first word on the bus. This is what happens when we put one child in preschool for 2 days. But there are 79,999 other little children waiting, and that's just for preschool. At the end of the day, it's not about the bus. It's about being given the room to experiment with rigor and intention. It's about finding new solutions to long-standing problems. The craziest thing that we can do is nothing. Thank you.